face was, that was your stomach. All right, welcome everybody to the Torchwood Q&A today, and it's we've already established that Torchwood fans are crazy. We've just been watching them singing and dancing there. It's my very great pleasure to introduce to you James Moran, who is a writer, has written 2 episodes.
And a murderer.
And some other guy as well, who you might have heard of as well. It's Gareth David-Lloyd.
Some gay dead bloke.
Yeah. Who of course plays Ianto.
It was for drama. It's bloody good drama.
I'm sensing there's still some tension there about that plot development. We'll come back to that. Can we just kick off then? I ask you both. I'll start with James. Just a little bit about how you got started. And you did one of the most difficult things at the start of your career that's to do, which is to sell a feature film.
That was a secret. Oh, sell a script, yeah.
Sell a script. So can you tell us a bit about Severance? Has anyone seen the film Severance? Yeah, with Danny Dyer in it. James wrote it. So you wrote that on spec, did you? And
Yeah. I just got an agent, and I started writing this script on spec, and it took about a year because I messed it up. I didn't do an outline because outline's just uncreative, and I'm an artist, darling, and you know, I just go where the muse takes me. And then one terrible draft later, I was like, oh, I've made a complete mess of this. I just stopped myself swearing. I remembered there's lots of tiny children here, including myself.
Norman Lovett's already ruined that. So
No. So I spent a year sort of fixing it and figuring out what the hell I was doing, and then by the time I finished it, my agent sent it out, and it sold about 2 weeks later. It was 2 weeks of agony and pain because one company refused to read it because they said, no, we only read stuff by big name writers. And we were like, oh, okay, fair enough. And one company, we don't know who, someone left it on a bus. And not only did they leave it on a bus, but they didn't even bother getting in touch with us to ask for a replacement.
Oh dear.
So they clearly hated it that much.
But it got made.
But then it sold.
Did that lead on then to Torchwood and Doctor Who?
Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to get into TV for a while, but there wasn't really much science fiction stuff on at the time. So I went off and did a film kind of by accident. By the time that was out, Doctor Who had come back, Torchwood was up and running, there was all kinds of things going, and I'd written on a couple of things that were kind of similar horror things, and I got a meeting with the Torchwood script editor and producer, and pitched a couple of episodes, and then I was off.
Brilliant. Well, same question to Gareth then. How did you get started?
On Torchwood, or?
Well, you can go back as far as you like, not to conception obviously, but...
I was conceived on an armchair. I was, apparently. I started with music. Auntie took pity on me, and because I looked bored, I think, and started sending me to music lessons, the trumpet, and then the piano. I got bored of both because the teacher I had was very classically minded, very classical mind, no jazz or blues or any of the music that I now listen to. So I got really frustrated and packed that in. It wasn't quite working. I liked the artistic side of it. I was 8 at the time, and then my auntie said, "Well, what about drama lessons?" I thought, yeah. Then it's just sort of clicked. I think the first role I ever did was a vampire in a self-devised show by 8-year-olds called The Haunted House, but it should be called The Doctor, the Vampire and the Vegetarian. That's basically what it was about, and I was the vampire.
Brilliant, and then obviously that didn't directly lead on to
and then I was spotted. No,
and the audience of the vampire.
That started. You asked how it started off. You never asked. You never asked for a middle bit. And then I did more drama classes and National Youth Theatre. I did a 1-year course in Reading. Got an agent. 5 years stint in London, doing a bit part here and there, and then I got Torchwood. Moved back to Wales, where I still live.
Fantastic. So coming back to James, the first episode that you wrote for Torchwood, it was the second ever episode of Torchwood, wasn't it?
Of the second series,
Of the
yes.
sorry, of the second series, and it was called Sleepless.
Sleeper.
Sleepless. Oh dear.
And it wasn't Torchwood. I'm kidding.
This is James Moran.
Okay, thank God. Can you tell us a bit about that then, about how you got the idea for that and developed that?
Yeah, that was just a very kind of simple idea. It was just, I thought, wouldn't it be awful if you just suddenly found out you were actually an evil alien psychopath sent here to kill everyone? Wouldn't that be terrible?
Spoiled my day.
Or would it actually be? God, you're very good looking.
Thanks.
So handsome.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Write me a script.
I did.
Well, then kill me again. Write me another one though. I stay alive.
Okay, well you gotta specify these things in advance.
I'd like a living role, please.
Yeah, I got a new vampire show written by 8-year-olds.
Sounds right up my street.
Spot on.
It's been done before, man.
You get killed in the opening sequence of every episode.
But you're a vampire, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You seem determined to talk about the famous death here. Whose idea was that?
It was Gareth's.
Were you responsible?
my idea.
We didn't want to do it, and Gareth was like, kill me off. I nearly swore again. He's kill me off. He's I've had enough, I'm sick of it. Do something else. I want to play a vampire.
I've had enough of this sci-fi shit.
I want to play the trumpet.
I want to play classical trumpet.
I've totally forgotten what the question was.
Well, how did they break it to you? Was it? I'm taking it wasn't your decision to kill off Ianto.
Well, it was that first meeting we had.
If it was, he's not going to admit it here.
It was their idea. I was totally against it. I was like, no, this is a terrible idea, and I stormed out in a huff. Then I went back for my jacket because I'd forgotten it. No, we had.
This is you avoiding being lynched.
We
by
had an
lots of
initial.
Torchwood fans.
No, I'm a third responsible. We had a 2-day story meeting where we kind of fleshed out sort of like what happens next, and then we kind of. Actually, I think I'm slightly more responsible than I say. We all kind of agreed on it, and we were kind of debating what would be a terrible, shocking thing to happen, and how it would affect everyone, and all the kind of things you talk about. The one thing we all agreed on was that Gareth had to go because he's terrible. No, we kind of came to that conclusion. We were trying to figure out how to do it, and I think I figured out the method of it as well. I can't remember exactly, but I remember there being a moment where I was like, oh shit, I think I just pulled the trigger there. Is there a back way out of here?
And how did they break it to you then? Was it an unpleasant surprise?
I phoned, my agent called me and said, oh, it says here you'll only be needed 3 or 4 out of the 5 episodes. I sort of twigged then.
That doesn't sound good, does it?
Does he go on holiday? What? No, I could smell it coming before it was even mentioned, because it would be good drama for Ianto to have got killed. If I was in your situation, I would have made the same decision.
Oh, don't be all nice about it. I feel terrible now.
No, it's all right. I have bigger, better things.
It being a science fiction show, though, in all seriousness, is there ever? You could come back. Would you be up for going back to Torchwood?
At some point, maybe. I think if it came back too quickly, it would be spoiling the drama. I suppose you've got to. Even though it's science fiction, the audience still has to feel the danger if somebody dies. They're gone. If you keep bringing people back, there's no danger in it. So if he was brought back too quickly, I think that'd affect that. But flashbacks, ghosts, whatever in the future, I'd love to come back and say hello to everyone and do a spot. But for now, he's gone.
There are some very, very dark storylines, aren't there? And particularly Children of Earth, Torchwood has a very dark ending, doesn't it? Is that at all influenced by the American style of TV that's so popular now? Because I know Russell T Davies is very big on things like Buffy, isn't he? Was a big fan of that. Has that had a massive influence on the way that the show is written and produced?
I mean, only in the sense that we all got together to kind of brainstorm the whole thing. I don't think we didn't kind of sit down and say, let's tell a really dark story.